Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Now, very much like Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even remotely an expert in this. I've watched the original. I've watched the Lord of the Rings films. It's probably been about 5 or 6 years since I last saw any of them.
Yeah, I could do to rewatch them before this comes out.
So I mean, that would have made me what? No, it's probably younger than that. I was probably about 13 the last time I watched them. So if I misspeak on them, leave me alone. It happens.
We just enjoy them.
I might get stuff in the wrong order. I'm not a fucking loser about everything I enjoy. I know I give that energy. I'm not, though. Some things I do manage to just enjoy blindly. So we got the trailer for Lord of the Rings like 5 minutes after we finished recording last week, didn't we?
Yeah, so we'd had a teaser a while back, and we had character photos of them, each character in costume, but we didn't really know anything about who these people were. And then, yeah, at the end of this week's episode, we finished recording, and I was like, oh, there's Lord of the Rings is trending, and it was a new trailer.
Which looks phenomenal.
Yeah, safe to say, Amazon's money is paying for real good CGI.
Daddy Bezos is spending the big bucks.
But because for people that understand how Lord of the Rings is made, a hell of a lot of it is practical, costume, set design, but a lot of landscape and world building is obviously done through CGI and filming in New Zealand.
Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong here, and that's assuming you know. So Star Wars, the original ones, which are looked at as like the pinnacle of modern CGI, and in my opinion, going back and rewatching them now, still holds up relatively fucking well when you consider they're like 50 years ago nearly.
Yeah.
Was really good practical effects and then just touched up with CGI to smooth out the edges. Is that not kind of how Lord of the Rings has always done their stuff?
Yes, I would say like original Lord of the Rings and original Star Wars was, I'd call it less CGI, just VFX. A lot of it was practical.
And then they just touch up the little mistakes.
Yeah, it was like prop design. It was a lot of model. In the original Star Wars, it was a lot of model work. Miniature work.
Like the trench fly was like a big model, wasn't it? Where they like swooped the camera down.
It's a lot of miniature work, and then that all gets touched up with VFX to add like lighting and all that stuff, which does like doing practical with VFX definitely sells things more. And Lord of the Rings was a lot of the same. I'd say Lord of the Rings probably used CGI a bit with like the landscape stuff, like 'cause it's early. But yeah, now it feels, well, from what we've seen, obviously we don't really know, but I would say this Lord of the Rings show is kind of keeping true to that. In they're trying to do stuff practically.
I think that was kind of given away when they did like their video of like the fire going through the sand to make the logo.
Yes.
And then 2 weeks later, the leaked footage of them filming that came out, and me and you went, "Holy shit, that was all real."
Yeah, it was
no
all
CG
practical. There's like a bit of VFX, like extra steam and extra like stuff like that. But yeah, the breakdown of how they did that title sequence is wild that they did that for real.
And it makes me excited. I'm really, really excited to see this.
Oh, so am I.
But when it comes to talking about the episodes for that, it's very much going to be more like the Star Wars kind of stuff of that was really fun. I enjoyed it. I don't understand why people were angry. Instead of the deep dives of they said this, what do you think it means?
Yeah, I plan to rewatch The Lord of the Rings close to it so that any kind of location that are the same but a different time period I kind of pick up on. I'm similar with Star Wars. Like, I know a little bit and I understand a little bit of the world of Lord of the Rings, but I'm not super detailed because I'm terrible at remembering stuff like that.
When's the first episode of Lord of the Rings?
2nd of September.
2nd of September. So we've got a month.
Yeah.
So that's like 4 episodes.
All we really know.
Oh no, we've got 6 episodes because of the record dates.
Yeah. It's called Rings of Power.
Every other week we could watch one.
Yes.
So we could watch one for the episode of the 4th, the episode of the 18th, and then the episode of the 1st, and then from the Friday the 2nd we'll have our first episodes. So we can watch one of the films and then just catch up on it.
Yeah.
Because again, like we try and make this entry for DC and Marvel stuff. We've got to remember there's a whole wave of legitimate like 15, 16-year-olds who are older than we were when we fell in love with this stuff who haven't grown up with it.
Yeah, there's definitely like an age. I would say there's probably an age group that has seen Star
are
Wars
ready
because
to
of the
have their
new
minds
stuff.
blown.
Yeah, but there's also probably an age group that like might never have seen Lord of the Rings
Yeah, which I mean, it
because
sounds wild to like me and you because it was
yeah,
huge when I was growing up. But
it's like Star Wars has had new stuff, so it's like you can grab the younger audience again. Lord of the Rings hasn't had anything since The Hobbit,
which
and like
I mean, I didn't watch any of them, and I don't
so
plan on it.
I watched The Hobbit. I thought it was fine. Yes, they could have not done it across 3 films, but then at the same time, you could quite easily say Lord of the Rings should have been done across 9 films, not 3.
Yeah, but we like the 5 hour extended cuts.
Well, yeah, we do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it
Oh,
because
they're
it's
not on
like
any streaming services. That's gonna be a bit of a bastard.
what Lord
I'm
of the
gonna have to
Rings.
find the old DVDs. Yeah,
I
I'm
have
gonna have to find the
the
old DVDs.
extended Blu-rays somewhere, so
I think I have the extended DVD somewhere, so it might
I'll have to
have
crack
be.
that out. But yeah, I mean, it's set thousands of years before the Lord of the
Okay, is
Rings
it
films.
thousands? Because I wasn't sure if it was thousands or hundreds.
I'm pretty sure it's thousands.
Okay, cool.
Um,
So does
I
that mean
could
that
be
none of our
wrong,
Elvie friends who live for a very, very long time will be about?
some of the Elvie friends will be.
Okay, how long do Lord of the
Hang on.
Rings
This
elves
is the
live
thing.
for?
I don't know if it's I thought I read it was thousands, but I can't remember exactly. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Cool.
I know. Right, Rings of Power timeline.
Oh, okay. Elves in the Lord of the Rings world don't die from age. So we might see some more Elvie friends.
We
Orlando
will.
Bloom, Orlando Bloom, Orlando
Well,
Bloom.
I don't know if we'll see the same actors. That's
Hello.
at first my internet cut out.
Oh, okay.
I thought your camera froze. I was like, oh, Connor's camera's frozen. This is technical issues. And then I was like, this is going on for a while. And then my Discord just shut off.
I would just like everyone to know that I kept talking the entire time in
So did I.
case just in case his Hori side could hear me and he couldn't respond to me. But that's the first ever times we've had technical issues in the middle of a
just
recording.
saying that. But that whole
That's wild.
blank spot will probably get cut and it'll come back as we came back.
Yeah, you're just gonna come back to 2 people now looking very the fuck's just happened.
But for those that don't know, we just chopped out a huge chunk that was technical issue.
About a solid 2 minutes of just nothing.
Unknown. Anyway.
So what was the last thing you heard from me? Was it me going Legolas, Legolas, Legolas?
Yes. And I said
cool.
I don't know if it'll be the same actors. I know
Yeah, all of them are a lot older now, sadly.
I'm pretty sure we are getting Gladriel, who is the elven princess woman.
Okay, cool.
You know, that was in the woods.
Yep.
But I've just looked it up now. So Lord of the Rings was set at the end of the Third Age, which was a 3,000-year-long age.
Okay.
This is apparently going to be in the Second Age.
Okay, so it's like about 3,000 to 10,000 years prior.
Yeah, it's saying between 3,000 to 6,500 year gap that it could be placed in. And it's obviously about the 20 rings, including the one, which is the one ring and the 19 other that were given to everybody.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to see them being made, them being handed out, and all the power shifts that come with all that because everyone wants the power.
I'm really excited. Lord of the Rings stuff is fucking awesome. I'm not into a lot of fantasy stuff. That's just not my genre. But Lord of the Rings I really enjoy. I doubt Jenna's ever seen them, so I might get to expose her to them for the first time.
Yes. And I mean, in my opinion, the Hobbit films aren't too bad. I feel like they got, as everything seems to nowadays, got slated more than they should have done.
I think I said it before we started recording, but anything that's popular that isn't perfect is garbage.
Yeah.
That's the internet's view on everything.
It was just one of them where they stretched out to 3 films and it didn't need to necessarily be. But I'm interested because for a long time, the Tolkien estate, who controlled all the books and what was going on with it, said there was never going to be any more films. They didn't want. They were done with letting people make films on the books. And then this cropped up, so something's obviously changed there, or someone's persuaded them.
Do you know what it is though? And don't get me wrong, I know it lasts for a while, but there's the thing with stuff like this that after X amount of years, it goes into the public domain.
I think with the Tolkien stuff, It's not, because it's passed through the family. So it's his family have taken it, control of it.
It would need someone in his family to not have kids and die,
Yeah,
and then the timer would start.
I guess. But at the moment,
Okay.
I think I'm wondering if it's got passed on to like the next generation again, and they've said, "Oh yeah, we're on board with it."
Daddy Bezos and his billions. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Or it could just be that Amazon came along and said, "Look, we'll pay you this much," and they're like, "Okay, yeah, that sounds good." But
Them Lord of the Rings residuals don't hit so diff at the minute. So yeah, give us some of that Amazon money, baby.
for people that are really into Lord of the Rings, like this is gonna be a different time period. Lord of the Rings is set in a very kind of down time. The world's not in a great place. The elves aren't as strong anymore. The dwarves are all but gone.
We're going to see a lot more of the fall from grace rather than the aftermath.
Yeah, this is like the golden years. So I'm excited to see like all the different dwarven factions and all the elves, humans. There's going to be a lot more like iconic human like kings and stuff. So it's going to be an interesting show.
For sure.
But yeah, we've got a couple of months before that comes around.
I mean, like a month and a half.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
True, when you put it that way.
So yeah, so if you've never watched Lord of the Rings, watch the
it.
3 of them over the next 6 weeks, and then you'll feel like you're in the podcast.
Yeah.
Because we'll be talking about them over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure, if we remember to watch them. It is like a big time commitment. Like 7 hours every other week. That's a big old time commitment. If Ori took that time to rewatch the trilogy, he could watch all 3 seasons of The Boys.